Hi, this is Zaniman, and I'm going to show you how to use basic text in Blender. So let's go and delete the default cube, and we can stay in Blender Render. So you can go Shift A or go to Add Text. So your add might be down here. And now size this up, I guess, so you can see it. And I'm going to press R to rotate and type in 90. Oh, oops. Press R and then press X, so it'll rotate on the X axis, and press 90. And that'll make it stand upright, so you can see it a little better. And so that it's on the right axis for any animations you want to do or anything else in a game or whatever. So to change this text, press Tab, and you can start typing. I'm going to type Zaniman. I'm going to type Zaniman. So, yeah. And then I can do this, and I have it right here. So, now, what you're probably thinking is, this is flat. Why is this thing so flat? Well, it will appear in renders, as you can see in my intro, which by the way was made in Blender. It's actually flat, but you can actually change that. I didn't know it at the time, but I just discovered it. If you tab over into this section with the text selected, you can find this place. You can rename it, so I can rename it Zaniman. And preview U12, all those things. This is the resolution, and you can change the render resolution. You don't really need to do that. The thing I want to show you about is this geometry tab. So basically you can add an extrude or offset. So offset basically makes it thicker. You don't want to increase that by too much. See, if I increase it by just 1, it gets all wacky. So I'm going to Control Z that. If I do like 0.05, then it does that. And that. So, yeah, that changes a little bit. It still looks a little wacky at places. So, depending on the text you have, you can change that. So, I'm going to go and Control Z. And now, you can change extrude to like 5 or something. And that's big. You don't want to change it to 5. 1 is even really big. So 0.5 is a little better. I'd recommend like 0.1 or something. Yeah, 0.1 looks good. So yeah, okay, that looks cool. And now you can add a bevel to it, which is basically making it look a little more shiny. And you'll see. If I press 1, that makes it way too big. Makes it a little smoother and shiny. If I do like 0.5, that's still way too big. 0.1, still really massive. I mean, basically, you can see what it does. If I do 0.05, you can see that's a little better. So yeah, now this looks a little better. And if I material, if I add a material and make it greenish, that looks pretty cool. So now, that's not all you can do. You can also change its font. So if you go over back into this tab with this selected, you can go down to past the geometry tab into the font tab. And you can upload a different file for regular, bold, italic, bold, and italic. So if you find a font file on a website, make sure it is free to use for whatever situation you're using it for. Like if you want to sell it, it has to be able to do that. So font, regular, bold, italic, and bold and italic. So if you find pack, you can change mine is right here. If I open up that font file, you can't really see it well because my geometry that I did. If I get rid of this bevel and I get rid of the extrude, you can see it better. So yeah, that's arcade font, as you can see. But you can upload you can upload any font that you want, and it works perfectly in Blender. Even if they're meant to be Google Docs or Microsoft Word or something, if it's meant to work in a word processor, it'll still work in Blender, which is really cool. And it'll even go with the background color of this. So if I press, I don't have a camera. Well, if you render it, then it's still, you can see the background color of it, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna get rid of that font, and I'm going to keep my extrude and my very small bevel. And yeah, so that's you can change the res, make it a little more shiny and stuff. Or you can make this can like set the shading and stuff. Speaking of which, you're probably noticing, well, you can't set the shading, it's not over here. That's because this isn't a mesh type. So if you want to convert it to mesh, first make sure your text says everything you want it to say perfectly, because you can't change it once it's a mesh. So once you have the bevel, you have the offset, the extrude, everything right, the font, everything you want, once that's right, you can go Alt-C, and then we'll have two options, curve to mesh text or mesh from curve meta serve text. That just this bottom one just basically makes it a normal mesh object, which is pretty cool that you can do that to objects. So if you select that, now, it's a mesh, and as you can see, if you tab into edit mode, you change individual vertices and stuff instead of changing the word and the font and stuff. So, yep, that's the very basics of text in Blender, and I will see you in the next episode.